Your rock station 99.7 The Blitz. Nuber and I are just kind of hanging out in the studio, going through the motions and the emotions, as I mentioned before, of the Chester Bennington suicide today. And a lot of people are different angles on this. As we mentioned, I walked in, I was angry. Angry, and I think it's because I'm just like, stop. Just stop this nonsense. Mm-hmm. Just stop. Like, God. And people are sad and crying, and there's everything in between.
Yeah, and we're being as honest as we possibly can be. You know, we might not always be right, but at least we're honest, and I think that's a start, as opposed to, before you wouldn't talk about this. I got to point out what somebody texted in over at 99700. They said, and it just refreshed. Okay, there we go. The stigma around mental health has got to stop. Support the person who is trusting you with their feelings and don't judge. This person, absolutely correct. We're not disputing that in any way, shape, or form. Yep. Unfortunately, we are humans. We have feelings, and in a vacuum, they're absolutely correct.
Yeah.
But feelings come into play, and that complicates things. And it's hard to empathize maybe with people who are going through this stuff when you're not.
Yeah.
And you maybe have never been there to a dark, dark, dark place. And it's very difficult for people to do that.
Yep.
But I said it when we first went on the air. I think, at least for me, this is me, I don't try and rationalize what they did, because trying to rationalize the irrational is just a futile case.
Yeah.
But I think telling people they're wrong for feeling that way about something isn't going to help either.
That's right. It's not okay. And I think my anger when I heard the news was simply based on the fact that I'm hurt. I'm hurt by it.
Yeah.
And I think I'm not hurt by it because it was somebody that I knew. But the impact that what he did is going to have on people that I do know.
Right.
And people that I don't know that listen to our station every day.
Yeah.
We talked about kids, teenagers, the bullying in school. There's the internet bullying. A lot of the texts coming in, people talking about that. People that are struggling with depression, losing jobs, losing a marriage, children dying, and things that make people spiral. And the way that people tend to think about it is just, I'm going to take my life. I can't deal with this anymore. Yeah. And we've talked a lot about the hotlines, the crisis hotlines and everything. And the one thing that I want to emphasize, I've emphasized earlier, and we've taken a lot of calls today, and a lot of people are getting very honest with us about their situations and occurrences in their life and how they've been touched by suicide, one way or the other. Is if you don't want to talk to somebody that knows you because you're down or you're sad or there's something that's really got you in a dark place and you're embarrassed to say, I'm thinking about killing myself, there are crisis hotlines for people that don't know you that can help you if you choose not to talk to somebody that knows you. If you are someone that knows someone that seems to be struggling, reach out to them and just touch base, like you've mentioned all day today. And I know that within the military community that the stigma of suicide and the stigma of the whole PTSD is what they're trying to get beyond. Like, right. That has got to change, and I agree 100%. I get concerned about that a lot, and people that I know that are struggling, and when I don't know, like, do you think Chester was planning this? I mean, no. Like you said, you can't rationalize it.
Nope. He didn't plan. I can't. Again, we're trying to speak for somebody with that was mentally ill. Who knows what substances he may have been on, or maybe he stopped taking his medication and he wasn't properly medicated. You don't know. So, until all the facts come out, and even after all the facts come out, you don't know where their head was at. Right. I got to thank the person that texted in that was open enough to talk about the time that they attempted suicide. Yeah. They're not realizing the finality of their actions.
Right, and that's it. You're taking your own life.
Yeah,
I mean, and you said this earlier, and it is really the truth. I mean, when you take your life, you're really only leaving your baggage for everybody left behind.
Yep.
He had 6 children, a horrible act, but can't justify it, can't rationalize it, can't understand it to the point where he was. And I think it's impossible to do that. Again, so many texts are coming in. The stigma around mental health has got to stop, as you said, and the support and everything is the most important thing.
So I think with that person, and something we can take from that text about, you can't judge people. Let's just say this: try not to judge people.
Right.
Of course, emotions are going to come into play, but if you're aware of that fact, I think it's going to help. Because I think, Ronnie, in all honesty, I think getting angry is if you use it as a motivating force.
Right.
I suppose it could be healthy, but a lot of times it's just getting frustrated doesn't help anybody.
Yeah. And like I said, my anger came from the fact of the message that he sent by his action to people that are on the edge. It scares me. It makes me hurt, and it makes me angry at him because I don't want anybody that thinks that that's okay. What he did is going to give them justification to do it too. And that's where my concern is. We got a text in here. Netcare's number, we're open 24/7.
Yes, thank you for doing that.
Someone always there to talk. 614-276-2273. Netcare 24/7, 614-276-2273. 2273. And then we also talked about the crisis text line in Ohio. You can text the number 4 and the word HOPE to 741-741. And that is of all ages. That is a crisis hotline that can serve anyone and everyone. There is also the Suicide Prevention Services Columbus Suicide Hotline 24/7, 614-221-5445. There is a teen suicide hotline as well, 614-294-3300. And Nuber, you and I talked about how in school and the bullying and everything, my mother always said to me, Ronnie, kids are cruel. Kids are cruel, and just remember that it's their problem and not yours. You will come out of this. Just don't take it. Don't take it to your heart. Just let them go through whatever they're going through, and it may be coming out on you. You may be dealing with their demons, but it's not you.
Right.
They're cruel. They have their own issues. Do not let it affect you to the point where you get down on yourself.
Yeah.
And that goes through adult life as well. As we talked earlier about a situation I went through, I had to realize at some point, these were not my demons. These were his demons.
Yeah.
And they were coming out at me. And you got to know that if you're dealing with your own issues in your own head, your own demons, there are people that you can talk to, whether it's somebody close or if you choose not to talk to somebody that knows you that's close, there are options and numbers here.
And that applies to you too. Seriously. Right. I mean, we talked about it last hour. You said some things I had no idea about. And I think by you sharing that is going to help more people. And as difficult as it was for you to share that, the fact that you have been, quote unquote there, to that dark place. And, you weren't thinking rationally. You thought nobody would have cared or nobody was there for you when nothing could be further from the truth. And I just want to try to instill that in you. If I see every day in here,
I know.
I can't imagine not doing that, not seeing you every day.
And that was a couple of years back, and it's weird because sometimes when I think about it, I look back and I go, God, what was I thinking? I wasn't.
Yeah.
And the issues were not mine. I was impacted by somebody else's issues. And I'd mentioned to you, I was like, I don't want to take my own life. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But at this point, you might as well just do it because you're getting close to it. So the whole thing.
Right.
But then, when I look back, it's like that. Now I go, God, I just can't even imagine. I can't even imagine. Like, what was I thinking? And it's a moment of not thinking.
I can't imagine either.
That's the closest part that I can get to is by saying that a person isn't really thinking. And they're really not feeling.
Right.
They're numb and they're not feeling and they're not thinking when that happens.
That same logic that you had where you were like, nobody will pick up the phone. Nobody will care if I give them a call. Imagine suffering from depression and having those feelings. And, somebody in your situation when nothing could be further from the truth.
Right.
Well,
and that's a thing. Like we talked to somebody earlier where they mentioned that their wife had committed suicide because she was in an abusive relationship. They had separated. They had a child, and this woman was seeing another man, and this man was abusive. She ended up committing suicide. And that is a thing that happens, men and women, where men are abused, women are abused. And when you get into a place where this person is telling you that nobody will care. Nobody gives a crap about you, and they cut you off from everyone and everything that matters to you. You end up getting in that dark space because you feel like that is it. And they make you feel like you will never, no matter what, whoever you talk to, they're not going to care. You might as well not waste your breath.
And somebody just texted in, and people have said, and even commented over at 99700 that some of these crisis helplines, they didn't help them when they were in a situation. And I can't go anecdotally from situation to situation. I don't know the individual situations, but I can tell you there is so many different organizations out there, as Ronnie was reading them off to you, that are willing to help and might help you in a different fashion. Don't give up if you become frustrated with one or the other. Somebody just texted this in. Columbus Springs in Dublin at 614-717-1800. Again, it's just one more organization. And they said this. It's a free assessment. We can help you. As cliche as it sounds, please know you are not alone. So thank you to the person that texted that in. Again, one more venue for a person. We're trying to get to the whole. There is literally no excuse to do it.
Yep, absolutely.
There's no reason to say nobody cares, because that's not the case. We had
a gentleman call us a moment ago when we were on break there. He is super ill. Like he is his body is just in a real bad way. His health is failing, and he goes, I thought about it. He goes, and even though my health is failing, I would never take my own life.
Right.
I mean,
right.
Think about the mind strength for that situation. And I guess it's important to know. And as I'll mention again, like you matter.
Yeah.
You matter. Even though you think you don't, you do. Like you do. I mean, God, it's crazy.
And you called it mind strength, but part of it too is that person probably just isn't predisposed to these thoughts and these feelings. And, for whatever weird reason, I didn't get the gene, or I wasn't susceptible, or, had to deal with any kind of real trauma in my life, that I don't have to deal with this. It is difficult for me at times to try and understand why.
To wrap your head around it.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, everybody gets to a place, I think, where they're kind of down and it's not as good a day as yesterday.
Yeah.
But there are some people where that is really bad.
Yeah.
I mean, those down days are down to the curb down, and that's where it's the impact of your judgment gets skewed, and that's the dark place, and that's scary. Where something as simple as, I'm not able to pay all my bills this month can drive somebody to do stupid things.
Oh, it doesn't take anything.
Right.
It doesn't, and that's just a part of the weirdness of the illness. You break a shoelace, and that's enough.
It's the triggers.
Yep.
It's the triggers. All right, we're going to check out a little bit of tunage here.
To finish that, which is why it's so important to check up on people.
Right, for sure. So check in if you know somebody that's kind of in a place. Make sure you just shoot a call their way. And also remember, all the hotlines that are available to talk if you want. The crisis text line, text the number 4 and HOPE to 741-741. Your rock station 99.7 The Blitz. Papa Roach, Last Resort. Obviously, with majority rules today, we're kind of giving it a rest for the day with the news of Chester Bennington committing suicide, Lincoln Park. Just a lot of people are calling in today, and that's why Nuber and I are kind of here, going through it, hearing how you're feeling about it. There are all kinds of emotions, and I think that had it been standalone, it would have been one way to look at it. But because it comes on the heels of losing Chris Cornell, the impact is that much greater.
And the fact he was there, he was at the tribute shows, he was doing the tributes on stage. They were friends.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you have to boil it down. It was a conscious decision to do. He might have been not in his right mind, but he still made that decision, which is baffling to people, myself included.
Yeah.
You were frustrated as hell when you came in here. And you're not wrong, because it is just so baffling.
It's the fact that, like you said, you can't really rationalize an action like that. You can't. But it's the end all be all. When you take your life, you're gone, and that's it. And that's all there is to it.
We got a great phone call a few moments ago, and we're going to get that on the air.
Yeah.
In a few moments.
Awesome phone call. Some interesting insight and some interesting points that we had not thought of. So we're gonna talk to this gentleman in just a few minutes. So Nuber and I kind of hang a little bit together this afternoon to sort of talk through some of this stuff with you and experience it with you, the Chester Bennington suicide today, and the effect that it's having on just people in general, you know, the music community and us as people. And again, it's really kind of coming off the heels of, you know, of losing Chris Cornell and that they were friends, and it's Chris Cornell's birthday and just the weirdness of all that, and whether that's related or not, we'll never know. But the impact of his death and him taking his life is affecting people in different ways. There are a lot of emotions flowing out there. Mine was anger. I was angry because I'm like, oh my God, the effect this is going to have on people and your kids and people that are thinking about it. You're going to make it justified, and it's not. And so we've done our best here today to kind of just sort of feel it with you and get out crisis hotline numbers, which you're posting, I believe.
I'm going to post all of these because, you know, people are saying that individual ones did not work for them specifically. But I think it's important for people to understand that there are so many organizations out there and countless people who work for these organizations that have nothing but good intentions and want people to get well and want people to get out of their dark place that they're at. So if one organization, for whatever reason, you feel like brushes you off, having the strength to pick up the phone just to make that second, third phone call, I doubt you would need to, but being able to make that extra step to reach out to somebody might make all the difference.
Netcare was a good one. We had a text that came into our text lines, and they are open 24/7. Always somebody there to talk. That number is 614-276-2273. 276-2273. And we touched a little bit earlier about how sometimes when you're in that place, you don't want anybody to know, and you don't want to talk to somebody you know because you don't want them to know.
Yeah.
So if you choose to talk to somebody that doesn't know you, that can help you, that's your option.
Specifically, it's men. Mm-hmm. We're told to internalize this stuff,
right?
You know, and we got a great phone call about a few moments ago that you're going to play a little bit later on.
Right now.
Oh, okay. It kind of puts things in perspective.
Yeah.
About 2 months ago, before I started my my previous job, I hit a really rough patch as well, where I lost my job, I lost my dad, my cousin committed suicide. We were about to lose our house. All our bills were behind. And it actually crossed my mind at one point. And I started my new job at the time, and I was talking to my boss about it because he was just having casual conversation. And my work actually had a program where they sent in the tally of everything I needed to catch everything up, and they donated me a check for $5,000 to help me get everything back. So I understand what people go through, and when my cousin did it, it hit me harder than anything ever. Like, it hit me harder than my dad's death did, because my dad and I weren't very close, so I kind of went past it. But when my cousin did it, it was just one of those things in the same sense. Like, I wish I would have known something was wrong, because he led what essentially seemed like the happiest life anyone could have. Like, he just had a son. His son was a few months old. He seemed like he was happy with his wife, and then bam. I mean, I've been in the same scenario before where there's nothing that you can't overcome that won't get you out of a situation you're in.
And therein lies the truth.
And that's absolutely right. But you got to have it takes a lot sometimes, myself included, to ask for help.
Yep.
You know, we're told, again, specifically as men, we're told you got to handle your business.
Yep.
Right?
That's a fact.
And you should, but there comes a point where you're powerless. You know, and there's absolutely no shame in asking for help. And like this guy, for instance, he had no idea. His company that he worked for offered this type of thing. He just happens, had he not said anything to his boss, who knows how it would have turned out. But the fact he said something, asked for some help, the problems were resolved.
And he was down on his luck big time. And that's definitely something to check out. I would encourage anybody, if you are in your workplace, a lot of places do offer, if you go to your HR person or whatever, a lot of places do offer that, and you're just not aware of it.
Yeah.
And just to go ask maybe, even here, which of all places, and I'm not joking, but of all places, the mental deal with us in this building can be a little crazy sometimes. I mean, our company offers mental health help, and I know because I've been there.
Took advantage of that one, didn't you, Ronnie?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And a lot of places offer that stuff. So if you are in a place, and that's a personal, private thing with your HR person, they don't talk about it. But if you want to go check with them, and that you could do that as well. That is an option always.
But I had absolutely no idea about that until you just mentioned that right there.
Yep.
You know, again, just asking for help, even if it's financial situation that you feel like you're never going to get out of. Shoot me an email.
Yeah.
I'll go, I'll buy a Mega Millions ticket. We'll drink coffee and watch the drawing, but just reaching out and doing something like that might make all the difference.
Yeah, for sure. Don't really know. We've got so many texts coming in. North Central Mental Health Services on North High Street also has a suicide hotline 24/7. Dublin Springs is great.
And these people are texting in who I believe they are affiliated with these organizations. We're reading these and being like, wow, these people really care. You know, they are just looking for an opportunity to help somebody.
It may come off as, I don't know if I want to read this. Hold on. Let me check it out real quick.
Well, I mean, it's just, there's so many chances and opportunities and people that care. Myself and you included,
Yeah.
And I am. It's been a weird couple hours.
Yeah.
Okay? I'll just say that. It's just been bizarre. Courtney came in here a little bit after 2:00. Courtney, our promotions director, in tears.
Yeah.
And she told me that this happened. And then you came in upset, and I think it's a lot. It's coming at us, everybody.
Yeah.
It's a lot of information, and it's a lot of feelings and a lot of emotions. But talking through it, even for me today, has helped me understand it so much better. And listening to you guys, I can't thank you enough.
Yeah, agreed. Same here.
Thank you, Ronnie. It sounds so cliche and probably inappropriate. We're making the best out of a horrible situation.
Yeah. And we talked about this, again, another off-air thing, but if us having our conversation together with you, listener, has affected anybody in the way that they're reconsidering what they may have thought to do as far as taking their life or whatever, then that's all that matters. If one person understands that they matter and that it changes their mind to take their life today, then that is all I care about. I mean, It's important. Nuber's talked me off the ledge of being angry pretty much. But the anger came from a place of concern more than real true anger.
Right.
It's just
it was frustration.
Yeah.
It was frustration.
And now the thought of so many people reaching out to us today that have been affected by this in one way, shape, or form is really eye-opening. And suicide is definitely something that it's out there. It's among the masses, and it's something that is being dealt with, and it happens every day to all kinds of people. You don't have to be, a depressed homeless person or whatever. You could be on the top of your game and still take your own life because of other things, whether it's a chemical imbalance or whether it's a bad day or a divorce or something. Everybody is susceptible to it. And the idea is to reach out to people, no matter if you're the one thinking about it or the one that sees somebody thinking about it.
You're not a bad person if you have the thoughts,
right.
But it is not okay to just internalize them or even worse, even act on these thoughts.
Yeah.
Talk to somebody.
We're going to post all these numbers. I believe our website already has them. I think Eric and Monica did a great job.
They're doing a great job over there.
Blitz.com.
Yeah.
I don't have our website pulled up, Noobs, but is that on the main page?
That is on the Blitz Facebook page.
Okay.
It's a tribute to Chester along with the text line, which we will also post over on Facebook. So something for you guys to have a record of. And again, check up on your buddy.
Yep.
It doesn't, you don't have, again, I'm a guy. We don't like to make any big deal about anything, so you don't have to.
Yeah.
Just say, hey, you good?
Hey, cool. Noobs. I love you, man.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for doing this and being as honest as you were today. Yeah. I appreciate that. And I feel as though, if for whatever reason you're in a situation similar to that, God forbid, I think I might be able to handle it a little bit better.
Yeah.
Well, because I knew something was up. I did not know the extent.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And that's the thing, people don't talk about stuff sometimes because they're embarrassed or they don't want to put it out there.
I can say this honestly to you. I'll say this to you on the air or off the air. Anything you say to me is locked down. Doesn't go anywhere unless I feel like you're in danger.
I got you.
So, and I mean that.
And that goes for everybody. Everybody's got a Nuber out there, and everybody's got a Ronnie out there. So please take advantage because it's important.
Hopefully, they're a little bit more in control of themselves than me. But we got to deal. We got to deal with what's in front of us, right?
Listen, just because I walk in the air studio and you're peeing in the corner, I don't even know. But whatever.
It's the farting that I'm really starting to think is a problem.
Oh my God!
I need to see a doctor.
All right, y'all have a wonderful afternoon. We're gonna keep the music flowing now, and I encourage you to please continue to hit me up on the mycomputercareer.edu text line at 99700 821-9970. And of course, on our Blitz Facebook page, all of these suicide prevention hotlines are posted there, all the different options. There's teen, veteran, all ages, all of it. If you want to text to a location to talk to somebody or call, those numbers are posted. Wrapping up our big-ass chunk of nonstop Blitz Rock, once again, kind of putting that majority rule session on hold for the day today. We are coming up on 6 o'clock, and we had talked all afternoon, Nuber and I, in the studio about Chester Bennington and him taking his own life and the effect that it's having on all of us in one way, shape, or form. So many different reflections and effects on this whole thing. We talked about the anger, the sadness, all that, the confusion, the frustration, not understanding, not being able to rationalize it, what could have caused it. There's so much of that. And if you're someone that's in that position where you know someone that is thinking of suicide, you can see that, or you are one of those people, there are so many options out there. We have all of the crisis hotline numbers posted on our Blitz Facebook page if you'd like to check it out. The one that I'm kind of directing people to mostly is the crisis text line. Text 4HOPE to 741-741. Nuber's still in the air studio here.
There is a number.
Yeah, bring your mic around there.
There you go.
There you are.
I forgot how to radio there for a second. There is just so many numbers, and we're going to post them all. And just, again, encouraging people. If one doesn't help you in the way you feel appropriate, having the strength to make that second or third call.
Yeah.
To an organization who can help. These people have been texting in these numbers that I had no idea these organizations even existed, but these people via the text line seem very genuine and very going like kind of people to go above and beyond to keep this from happening anymore.
Yep. And there are a ton of lines. It seems to be, thanks so much for what you guys are doing today. Can you please share info about the Trevor Project? The TrevorProject.org and 1-866-488-7386 for LGBT people in crisis. They saved friends' lives.
Great organization.
That's a great one. So again, that's 1-866-488-7386. For LGBT people in crisis. That is the TrevorProject.org. There is the 4HOPE to 741-741. North Central Mental Health offers free or reduced services. Contact Family Focus at 614-227-6865, 227-6865. We also have gotten information from the Netcare people, 614-276-2273. That is open 24/7 with someone there always to talk. Again, Netcare, 614-276-2273. All this as a result of Chester Bennington taking his own life today, and the impact and the effect that it's had on just pretty much everyone and anyone. And again, coming kind of off the loss of Chris Cornell, and it's a mental thing, it's got a mental impact on everybody, one way or shape another. I mean, and it's not about glorifying what he's done. It's about understanding isn't even a word. I don't know. We actually wanted to put it out there today because this is the station that does what you want us to do, because it's your station. We've talked about Metallic Kids, and as we did not want to glorify him taking his own life, we thought about Metallic Kids today. Do you want us to play a couple of Linkin Park songs? Do you want us to memorialize him and his music, not his actions? If you do, hit me up on the text lines at the 99700 mycomputercareer.edu text lines or 821-9970. What do you want us to do? You tell us, Blitz Nation. We're going to go with what you want us to do. So we had a lot of calls and a lot of texts coming in, which we very much appreciate.
I'm sorry, Ronnie, I'm going to jump in here real quick.
Sure.
All very thoughtful, takes on the situation from both sides, but I'm glad we came to the conclusion we did.
A lot of the texts here say, of course, we should never focus on the moment in which someone loses or takes their life, but instead every other moment of accomplishment that they've had and made. Play the crap out of Chester, but don't make it based on Lincoln. See if you can set a song of him with get a song on with him with STP. Mm-hmm. Basically, that has been the main thing. Don't. It's not about glorifying his taking his life. It's been more about the impact that this person has made with his music and his lyrics and stuff.
From the Twins Buick GMC studio, where you always win when you deal with Twins. Open 7 days. Call 848-9999. It's your rock station.
WRKZ, Columbus.
99.7 The Blitz. It's Metallic Kids, powered by 22 Caliber Tattoo Studios and your rock station. 99.7 The Blitz.
All right, so Nuber and I still in the Air studio hanging out. You were quite the trooper today, Noobs. You were here at 10 on the air, and it's 6 o'clock, and you're still in the studio.
I really gotta pee. Is that inappropriate for me to say right now?
No.
Okay.
So we've kind of been going through the emotions of the loss of Chester Bennington today, and while we always try to be that station that says, you tell us what you want, and that's what we're going to do. And that's what we're doing today. The majority of people said they did want to hear music from Linkin Park and Chester Bennington. And while we talked about the idea that it wasn't glorifying his actions, it was more memorializing, paying homage to a guy that really affected a lot of people with his music and his lyrics.
Ronnie, how many people want to be known for their mistakes?
None.
Right? Speaking for myself personally, Jesus. I can't imagine, all the stupid things I've done in my life. And, we're just talking about, obviously, nothing to the degree of what happened at some point yesterday in L.A. Yeah. For whatever reason. We can't put ourselves in in Chester's headspace at that time. But what we can't negate is that how much his songs have helped people. The content of his art and how many horrible situations that has gotten people through. Yeah.
There's a text here that says, while I don't necessarily want to glorify suicide in the way that Chester Bennington went, that music as a child helped shape the genre of music that I love today. Linkin Park had a huge role in shaping the music that I listen to as an adult now. I would love to hear a couple of Linkin Park songs. And that's been basically the general consensus over the whole thing.
And the people that texted in that said, I can't support the guy because look what he did to his kids. I can't say they're wrong either.
Yeah, exactly.
I really can't. But I'm glad to see that we can, while understanding what happened was horrible, for everybody involved. There was a body of work there that is deserving of a celebration.
Yeah, for sure. So we're going to start off. We've taken a lot of the suggestions that you guys have put to us today by the phone lines and the text lines, and we're going to probably do a couple more than two for Metallic Kids today. The first being Breaking the Habit from Meteora. Linkin Park on the Blitz. Your rock station, 99.7 The Blitz, and of course paying homage to Linkin Park and Chester Bennington specifically. Again, we wanted to make sure that it was understood that we always will do what you want us to do, and the choice to play the Linkin Park music today to memorialize Chester Bennington was your choice, and I'm going with that. It wasn't to glorify his actions. It was to just memorialize the music that he created and the effect and the impact that his music and his lyrics had on so many people. Nuber?
We have a list of a number of hotlines that people can call or in some cases text into. Up on the Blitz Facebook page, the list is complete as we have it that have been texted in to 99700, or we did through a Google search, because oftentimes people were mentioning over at 99700 that they tried to call one organization and for whatever reason didn't get the answers that they needed, felt like they weren't as helpful as they could have been. We have a list of, I believe, 8 or 9 over there over at the Blitz Facebook page that if one doesn't give you what you feel like is necessary, to have the courage to make that second or third phone call or text line, we would just hope that you would do that.
Yeah, just reach out. Go ahead.
It's so hard to sit there and take a look at this situation after what happened with Chris, and to know that Chester was there and saw everything that happened and still, made the conscious decision to take his life. Is discombobulating, to put it in logical terms, but you can't. Yeah. I really don't. Again, that was the first thing I said when I came on the air, and I don't think I've really changed my opinion on you shouldn't try to rationalize the irrational. You shouldn't try to make sense of an irrational thought like the only solution here is to take my life.
Yeah.
But what you were able to do for me today and to me, by the way, never cried in the Blitz studio before. Shadow of the Day did it to me.
Yeah.
You broke me.
That was it. That song definitely did it. So, I just turned around and went, oh boy, God.
So, that's basically, thank you, for making me understand that this is just such a complex situation. And I don't think it's a bad thing to just come to the conclusion at the end of the day of just saying it's sad and leave it there. I don't think that's, sometimes it's okay not to have all the answers.
Yeah. And I don't think we ever will. I don't think it's for any of us to really know. It's between him and whatever his higher power is, and the family and friends and the close people that are left in the wreckage, and then of course all of us to just deal with it how we choose. The one thing that I did want to emphasize, we talked about the different emotions that were going on today with a lot of people. Like you said, just it being sad as a bottom line. It's just horribly sad, and it's tragic for so many reasons, but being angry about it for me was really based on the fact that I was concerned about people being influenced by his actions and thinking it was okay. I want to really emphasize that if you are a person that is close to the edge and you are thinking about it, what he did, what Chris did, and what Chester did, it's not okay. It's just not. And you have to know there are people out there that you can confide in, whether it be someone that doesn't know you or someone real close to your heart that you can confide anything and everything to. Just please do it. If you are a person that is close to someone that you feel might be nearing that point, please reach out to them. It is so important. And I feel like so many people get very close to a dark place, but a lot of people just get away from it. They push themselves away from it and they pull themselves out of it. Some people don't, and then you get what we have here today.
Yeah.
And it's horrible. So being a person that's been close to a really crummy spot, I'm thankful that I had a realization, and not everybody does, but find a realization and find the truth, and find it either in yourself or in a crisis hotline or someone that is near and dear to you. Please do not take your life, because as the saying goes, you freaking matter. Whether you believe it or not, you've got to find in your heart that you matter. Please find that place that you matter. It is important that you're on this earth. You're here for a reason, and you may not know what it is, but you'll find out one of these days. If you take your life, you'll never know. You'll never know. And
I'll say this, as a person who doesn't deal with depression or suicidal thoughts, that has never tried to take their life, I can look at the situation and say, you know what? For whatever reason, I'm not cursed with this thing. It is incumbent upon me to hold the space for the people that do, and be decent to people out there, because you don't know what other people are going through.
And that's a fact. I mean, it doesn't matter in life. You can look at somebody, but you're merely looking at
you just
them,
don't know
their exterior. Everything is on the inside and what is going on. And somebody commented earlier and said, there's a lot of people out there that are just bubbly and happy every day, and sometimes those are the people you got to kind of keep an eye on, because you don't see it coming, and that can go both directions. It can be the people that are reaching out constantly for help, and it can be the ones that are just generally like, hey, everything's great, and you just never know.
Yeah, it's amazing the power of a smile, holding the door for somebody. Mm-hmm. Don't stare and smile too long, otherwise they call the cops, I found. So just brief, like 1-2 seconds, then you're done.
random acts of kindness are always welcome as well.
Absolutely.
One of the best things ever. Again, Nuber is posting or has posted.
It's up there. Please add to it if you have. I mean, we're going through all the. Every organization has a little bit different specialty, I think, is what I'm gathering from this. If you're a senior, a teen, LGBT, the Trevor Project that was pointed out, that's all up there. Veterans, it's all there. Please add to it because obviously they're specific for a reason.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
Everybody, when you can compartmentalize them, I think it's better to help. It's easier to help the people that way.
It's more direct for
Right.
sure. Today has been quite unusual, sad and tragic. However, I would like to say spending the afternoon with you and Nuber and talking through some things and feelings and all of that stuff has been healthy and helpful for everyone involved, I do think. And if you get to a point, please remember there's always somebody that you can talk to, and taking your life is not an option. You are definitely worth it. And if you need to speak with someone, there are many contact numbers posted on our Blitz Facebook page. Nuber took a lot of time to put as many different types of crisis lines together for you to use, and please remember that. And you know, just rock on, man. Live on and rock on. It's important. You matter. You just do. I will see you when I see you. I'm the hunter. It's time for me to prowl. Love you bad. I mean it. I mean it. I love you bad.